Hey guys, how are you? I'm back with another live. Now, for some of you that have been following me, this is like my fourth live this week. Typically, I would go live like once a month or twice a month, but now I'm committing to Monday through Friday, daily lives, bringing you guys all the stuff I think you need to know about when it comes to shifting your mindset to actually create action and make a ton of money, right? so, I typically used to ask a couple questions to my coaching clients when it came to mindset. So I would ask a couple questions about mindset. I'd really try to get into some ideas and some thoughts and beliefs that they were having that were keeping them from making a lot of money. Now, it would usually only be a couple clients. Hey, Christina. So it would usually only be like a couple questions that I would have about them getting more clients. So it was just a couple here and there. And it was something really simple. And then we worked on mantras and we worked on affirmations and getting them in a better place. But it was more of just getting them to a positive mindset. But now that the work I've been doing is actually around journaling around questions that you need. And when I have journaled around these questions, I have noticed one, take a lot more action than I could have ever imagined in my life. Two, I show up a lot more. I'm now showing up like all the time in your Facebook streams going live, right? That takes a lot of balls, but I had to ask myself questions about things. Three, I really feel a lot more focused, just incredibly focused on the things I know I need to be doing in order to keep my business going. And then there's just been a lot of different shifts that have happened over time. Like clearly my fitness journey is getting better, eating and exercising, and there's a lot more just pushing myself because I'm journaling around these specific questions that I think everybody needs to ask themselves as a business owners, especially women, because we struggle so much with running businesses and feeling like we believe we can make it happen, feeling like we deserve, and that there's no guilt around money, right? So a couple of the questions that I've been asking myself, and I will ask myself these questions every single day, and I might get different answers every day. I might get like different things that come up. I might uncover some kind of like crazy beliefs I was having about myself and about how I'm acting, all right? And I did this with a client yesterday, and it was actually really fun to see like what we uncovered when I asked her these questions. So one of the questions is, if I was in total alignment, if I knew, like if I had the passion and the purpose and the drive to make this business happen, what would I be doing today? That was one of them, and I thought that one was so beautiful. So the question again is, if I was in total alignment with my business, with my passion, with my purpose, this is what I would be doing today. Now for you, it might uncover some things that you are supposed to be doing, that you know you're supposed to be doing, because I know a majority of you know what you're supposed to be doing, you're just not doing it. But for me, it really deeply uncovered that I feel a lot more passion, a lot more alignment when I talk about mindset than when I talk about things like marketing strategy and SEO and stuff. Like I know that stuff, but what really lights me up is like mindset and psychology. So that helped me to uncover that kind of thing I've had going on. Whenever I've asked this question to people, they'll typically uncover like, ooh, I'm probably supposed to be showing up a lot more. I would probably reach out. I've had people say, I'd probably reach out to that vendor I'm scared to reach out to. I'd probably approach that venue that I want to work at. I would probably, post on social media consistently. So it really will uncover like what you're supposed to be doing, all right? But then there's a couple other questions we can ask to figure out, okay, now that we know what you're supposed to be doing, like how do we get through this, right? So this one's my favorite one to ask after this. Hey, Christine, yeah, the dirty V word, visibility. Not vagina, visibility. Okay, so this is my next question that I love to ask, that I feel like then uncovers like, okay, if we really wanted to go after everything, if I knew I couldn't fail, this is the question you'd ask yourself. If I knew I couldn't fail, I would do this. And this question scares the shit out of me. Like, I remember when I first asked myself that. Typically, it was if I was working in a 9 to 5. It was like, people who see the comments on this live stream are gonna be like, "What are they talking about?" Okay. But typically, when I was asking myself this, so again, the question is, if I knew I couldn't fail, I would do this, right? And so when I was working my 9 to 5, when I would ask that, I said, well, I would quit my 9 to 5, right? But what I'm saying to myself then is I think I'm going to fail. Like, I already believe and I already have the idea that I am going to fail if I quit my 9 to 5 and go with my business full time. So that was like, oh, wow, shit. Ooh, I didn't know I thought that. I thought I was gonna quit my 9 to 5. Like, I thought I did believe I had it, but it really just uncovered like, shit, and you don't actually really believe that you're gonna be able to do this. You actually think that you're going to fail, right? So that's probably one of the other favorite questions. And now when you're answering these questions, it's actually a journal exercise. So I want you to journal around this. Just keep going. Keep asking yourself the question. Keep going and keep journaling about it, all right? So that's the other one. If I knew I couldn't fail, I would do this. Just to recap, the other question we asked was, if I was in total alignment with my purpose, my passion, my business, I would do this. And then these are a couple new ones that I've had. I've been in this awesome mastermind. And she gives us all these prompts, these questions. And these have been really incredible. So the other question you would ask is, what do I want to do and by when? And just, it's as simple as that. But it's also just like as complicated as like, what do women want? What do we want? But we can't, get to this place of feeling more fulfilled and successful and happy if we actually don't know what we want. So it really makes a huge difference to understand and make it clear of what you actually want and when you want to buy. You guys know I'm big on goal setting, so of course this is like another goal thing. But I think it's also deeper than that and saying, what do I really want? Like, if I couldn't fail, if I was in total alignment with my purpose and my passion, what would I want? And sometimes it's really different than what we think we want. Oh, yeah. So Christina's declaring it right now. I want to run $1 million business within 10 years. Awesome. Now, okay, Christy, let me take that one. So here's her declaration, right? And then what I would ask you is, okay, awesome, good, we've set our declaration. What would you have to believe about yourself today in order to hit that, Christy? So whatever your declaration is, whatever the thing is that you've decided that you want and by when, then you would ask yourself, okay, what would I need to believe about myself in order to hit that? So for some people, it's a lot of different things. It could be, I want to book 5 weddings next year. Okay, so in order to book 5 weddings next year, what do you need to believe about yourself in order to hit it? What do you need to believe about anything in order to hit it, right? And for me, I've uncovered a lot of things around, well, I would need to believe, one, that I could actually do it. Like, shit, that was one that was like, oh yeah, I would actually need to believe in myself and believe that it's totally obtainable for me. And that one was really hard because I was like, I always thought I kind of believed in myself, but when I would set a goal that I really wanted and I would put it out there, I would be like, ooh, fuck, I don't know if I totally believe I could do it. And most of us, that is where the magic will happen, between here's what I want and like here's where I am, and in between this is all the icky, mucky, like kind of dirty stuff that comes in of, do I believe I can hit it? What are my thoughts telling me about hitting this goal? What habits would I need in order to hit that goal? And that's actually touching on the next question, but I want to see what Christy said. Failing is okay. It's going to happen, but just keep going strong because I can. Yeah, good one, Christy. But what I would love to know about if Christy wants to hit $1 million business in 10 years, what does Christy need to believe? I don't want her to even think about failure. What I want her is to believe that this is like a non-negotiable. It is a done fucking deal. Like, you are hitting $1 million in your business. And you need to believe and you need to do and you need to, like, whatever needs to happen in order for you to hit that, right? And that's kind of some of the vibe we miss most of the time, is the vibe of, I'm going to do anything I can in order to make this goal happen. But then what happens in between there is like, oh, I don't believe in myself. I don't know if I can make it happen. I don't know any of that stuff. All right, so just to recap again. What do I want to do and by when? So you make the declaration. Then we ask the question of, what would I need to believe right now in order for that to be true, in order for that to happen? And typically what most people come across, like Christine, I know Christine because we worked one-on-one, and Christine has, I would actually need to believe in myself. I would actually need to believe that it's really going to happen, right? So that's like the first step to the question, or whatever it could be for you. So what would I need to believe in order for that to happen? Now here's the second part. This is where the action kind of part comes in. What are the habits that I would need to have in order to hit that? So for Christy to run $1 million business in 10 years, what habits would you need to have now and until the 10-year mark in order to hit $1 million in your business? Because the habits that you're going to need in order to hit that $1 million are going to be very different than the habits that you might have now to run whatever the X amount of money you're making, right? Like if I want to be hot ass Shannon with like a kick-ass body, well, my habits of kind of exercising 3 times a week were not going to cut it, right? I needed to change my habits along with changing my beliefs around whether I believed I actually deserved a hot body, whether I actually believed I could make it happen, whether I actually believed I could run a mile under 10 minutes, which I almost hit this week, which was really fucking crazy because it would typically take me like 11 minutes and 30 seconds to hit a mile. And this week I said, I'm just gonna fucking go for it. I'm just gonna believe I can hit it. And I ran a mile within 10 minutes and 13 seconds this week just by saying, I'm gonna fucking do it. And I believe it myself, which is crazy. Crazy, guys. All right. So anyways, yes. So then what are the habits you would need in order to hit that thing that you want? And for you guys, whatever it is, this is what I want. These are the habits I need. And then these are also the beliefs I need to have in order to hit this thing that I want. So Christy says, now that's a good question. I have my goals for how-tos for the next 5 years. So yeah, I need to do it for the next 5 after that. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, thanks guys. Thanks guys so much. That was, I mean, it really blew my mind because before, I will tell you, running is like, I don't know if any of you guys have run before, but running and working out to me is like, it's all in here. Every single thing is in here. And when I am running, that to me is like the most mental game you could ever imagine because I'm like sitting there, I'm listening to Nicki Minaj and Beyonce, but at the same time I'm saying to myself, like, just give up. You can slow down now. Like, it's, you know, like, it's fine. Like, nobody's watching. This isn't a race. What's the big deal, you know? And then I run into the run this week and was like, I'm just going to believe I can hit I went for like a 10-minute mile. I'm just going to believe I can hit it. I'm not going to slow down. I'm not going to quit. I am not going to give up. And I noticed in my head, it was like a battle happening inside of my head of like, slow down, you can get, you know, like, you're doing all right, but you can like slow down a little bit here. Man, this is really tough. You should just give up. And then part of me was like, you could do it. You could do it. You could do it. Like, it was like so strange, but it was amazing at the same time too when I came across and I was like 10 minutes and 13 seconds. Like, I never thought I would see that number, but it all came from saying, this is the thing that I want. What did I need to believe? And what habits do I need to have in order to hit all that? All right, so we got that one. And now what's the other big question I love? So this one is fun because it's kind of like, I've done kind of one like this with you guys before. How can I make X amount of money next month? Like, that's a cool one because it kind of will open up you to seeing opportunities and things that are available and how easy it can be to make money. Because sometimes as entrepreneurs, as small business owners, we are just like stuck in seeing the negatives of like, there's no money, there's no clients, no one wants to pay, right? I'm sure all of us have been there before. And then it's a mindset shift of seeing how much money is actually available to us. Like, there's money and there's opportunities and there's clients out there for us, right? So doing this exercise of how can I make X amount of money next month? So here's a fun one, like here's a crazy one. How could I make $10,000 next month? And I love breaking this down because it's just as simple as like, I just need, 3 of these package level clients, or I just need, 5 of these clients at this level. And it's just something so simple, and at the same time it seems really obtainable. So I love to just talk about that one. How could you guys make $10,000 next month? What would that look like for you? And take it from being wishy-washy to being like, this is exactly what I would need. This is exactly what I would need to hit in order to make that. What I will tell you is that what will happen is that if you do not have good habits, good thoughts, good beliefs about that goal or about yourself, what you will do is you will set the number and will say, I need to sell X amount of this, or I need to sell X amount of that in order to hit this $10,000 goal. And then what happens in between all of, the first of the month and the last of the month and trying to hit $10,000 is all those beliefs and habits and negative thoughts will come in and they will bring you back down. So I have totally seen that happen with myself. I've seen it happen with like other people I've been watching, and I've seen it happen like with clients. So I've seen where you go from, super excited about hitting that goal and ready to hit it, and then come to the end of the month and like we've kind of gone like this. Like you've kind of gone from here's 10 grand and then dip back down because you feel like, nah, it's not possible. It's not really, you tried one thing and nobody bought the thing, and then so you fucking suck, like kind of thing. It's like, what the you tried to sell one thing, you tried to go after one thing, and then you just gave up, and then you just sank back down, and then come the end of the month you're like, nah, I only made the same amount of money I made the other month. And that's because your habits and your thoughts and your beliefs about yourself just like went to the shitter, right? So that's why it's so important for you guys to have good habits and good beliefs. So Krista says, I love that. One thing we talk about next is how to be successful when the market is saturated. I don't believe that the market is saturated. I think that people are full of shit. So it is something you could talk about. We could talk about like, being like how to make yourself stand out from other people. I totally think that would be like a good topic. Everything could be saturated. The coaching market could be saturated. Everything could be saturated, right? And I think there's like so much, yeah, exactly, Christy. Yeah, you agree. It's not saturated. Yeah, like I totally agree with you. The market is not saturated, guys. Just so you know, it's not saturated. It's basically like the demand for photography went up because now everyone's photographing everything, and so now photographers have come in, and there is enough room. Like, remember, Christy, you were telling me something about, was it you or it might have been one of my clients? One of my clients was telling me about they saw some guy do a breakdown on a Creative Live video, and he was saying, if there's this many people in my state, and then there's this many people getting married in my state, he did it like off of averages, then there's this many people per photographers in my area. And it was something like 50 to 60 weddings per photographer in his area that could be happening, right? It was so cool because it was actual like numbers broken down saying, nope, there's enough room for you to get clients, and there's enough room for someone else to get clients. And they had it was so cool the way one of the clients described it to me. It was like, he broke it down by numbers saying, listen, there's this many people getting married per, average per year in your state. There was like enough for each photographer to book 50 to 60 clients or weddings. And it was like, there's not a saturation. There's not a saturation. There's just you using that excuse that the market is saturated to keep yourself playing small and to keep yourself not having to do things that might make you uncomfortable. Christy, who's commenting on the live right now, is actually really good at, deciphering, like, connecting to her hustle. Like, so if you want clients and you need clients, you just get the fuck out there and you just start making things happen. But what happens is we all like to use those excuses to let us stay home and stay behind our computers and not do Facebook Lives and not really put ourselves out there asking for the sale, putting ourselves up for rejection. We just get way too fucking scared of that whole thing that's going to happen. But that is why you see some people be 6-figure photographers and some people just like die off in the first 2 years, because there's people who will go after it with just every bone in their body, and there are some people who just don't like the fight in the game, kind of. Like, that's pretty much it. All right, guys. So those are the questions that I gave you. Again, just to recap the questions, if I were in total alignment with my purpose and my business and my passion, I would do this. And what would you do? Question number 2. If I knew I couldn't fail, I would do this. Question number 3. Sorry guys, I just have them written down. What do I want to do and by when? Question number 4. What would I need to believe in order to be and do and have all of that, the thing you said you wanted? Okay. Question number 5. What are the habits I would need to have in order to have all of that? Okay. And then the final question, how can I make $10,000 next month? Just for funsies. How can you do it? What would need to happen? And then I even want you to go back through those questions again when you say, how can I make $10,000 next month? You can even go back through and say, what do I want? I want $10,000 by June 31st, 2017. What would I need to do in order to have that? What would I need to believe in order to have that? What habits would I need to have in order to do that, right? Awesome. Cool. All right, guys. So, yep, I've done... Yeah, it's easier than admitting it's my fault. Yes, it totally is. All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining me. I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, cool. Bye, guys.